with us for this whole journey. Just thank you everyone for joining us tonight. So before I introduce John, I just want to take a few words to personally thank everyone in this room and all the folks who really helped and supported us. I want to thank the thousands of supporters, of donors, volunteers, voters who support not just John and I, but the idea that together we could build a more just and equitable Maryland. I want to thank my family for their endless support and enthusiasm for me as I embarked on this adventure, in particular my husband Michael, who kept me fed. The idea that we can never take our rights for granted. And we must always continue to fight for what we know is right. I want to thank all the supporters who've made me a better candidate, a better advocate for these issues and for people that we are fighting for. I would of course be remiss if I didn't thank our amazing staff who organized us, drove us miles and miles, supported us, and just otherwise did all the things. They did all the things for us. And as a first-time candidate, I can honestly, I can't express how much I've learned from them and how grateful I am to have been a part of this team with each and every one of them. So let's give them a round. I've been so honored to not only be endorsed by and partner with them in this race, but to partner with them in advocacy in Annapolis, especially right now as we fight for every Marylander's bodily autonomy. I want to thank our progressive allies, Sierra Club, Our Revolution, Lower Shore Progressive Caucus. Persian community that was so incredibly welcoming and supportive. And really, I could not be more proud of the campaign that we have run. We've been the loudest and the boldest campaign on women's economic action. We've been the loudest and the boldest campaign on calling for climate action. Joining this campaign, we have been the loudest and the boldest standing up for abortion rights. I have felt the anger and the sadness and the frustration of so many when it comes to the attacks on our reproductive freedom. And at a time when the Supreme Court has told us that guns have more rights than my body, it's really easy for folks to get frustrated and to want to throw in the towel. I've talked to folks, I know that feeling. But I'm here to tell you, we cannot stop, not for a single minute. The Republicans played a long game. They played a 50-year-long game when it came to abortion. And we must be willing to do the same. We have to work together. We have to work together. We have to show up liberty for everyone. And hopefully, inshallah, it will take us less than 50 years, but we have to be committed and ready to stay in it till the end. And I didn't think that there were any candidates who were focused on that, those women's economic dignity issues that I've spent my career on. But then I met John. And he was clearly a candidate that I could get behind. He was authentic, he was caring, he was fighting for those issues that I care about and so many more every single day. He has always been true to himself and to this race. And as I've gotten to know him, Melissa and the girls, I could not be more prouder to have run for Lieutenant Governor by the side of John King. So I cannot thank you all enough. And I cannot thank John enough And I'm so grateful to have been on this journey with you, John. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you all so much. You know, as you all know, I got into public service for the same reason I became an educator. When both my parents passed away, it was teachers, public school teachers and public schools that saved my life. I became an educator because I wanted to make sure that other students had the same life-changing opportunities that I did. And I got into public service with deep appreciation for the barriers that hold so many people back, but also the powerful role that government can play as a force for good in people's lives. This race for governor has always been deeply personal for me because I know there are too many Maryland families that have been denied real opportunity. Now tonight, while we do not yet know who will be our Democratic nominee, sadly we know at this point it will not be us. But I want to take this moment to celebrate the campaign that we have run. Michelle and I could not the issues that we have put on the table and the communities that we've lifted up. I want to thank the thousands of supporters, donors, volunteers, and activists who came out to show their support for our shared belief that government can be a force for good in people's lives. I want to thank Michelle, who every day has inspired me to be a better candidate and to focus on the issues that matter most in people's lives. Profoundly grateful for Michelle's leadership on behalf of economic dignity for all Maryland families and her tireless fight not just to ensure bodily autonomy for all Marylanders, but to make sure that we protect folks who are coming to Maryland to access abortion care and those who are providing the health care. Joined me on the campaign trail and sacrificed so much for this journey that we have been on together. I want to thank my wife, Melissa, my partner in all things. Woo! And I could not be more proud of my two amazing daughters, Amina and Marie. Those who stood with us for a bold, progressive vision for Maryland's future. From the Lower Shore Progressive Caucus to Pro-Choice Maryland to Our Revolution to Sierra Club to Sunrise that support has meant so much to both me and to Michelle, but more than that, that support has meant so much to the people on whose behalf we are advocating. I want to thank my campaign staff, whose relentless commitment helped elevate the voices and issues that are too often ignored in Annapolis, and whose commitment to progressive ideals is unmatched by any team, anywhere in this country. While the result tonight is disappointing, I'm tremendously proud of the ideas and agenda that we advance. We showed that progressive Democrats can campaign in every corner of this state. We showed that's right. From St. Mary's County out to Garrett County in Western Maryland to the Eastern Shore, we showed up everywhere and communicated with everyone, and that is how Democrats will win. That's how we'll win in November. That is how we will win the right everywhere in every community, because
That's right.
we are the party standing up for the people. Now, in this campaign, we also show that the folks who are so often ignored by Annapolis insiders need to be heard. Whether it's the voices of folks who are incarcerated, as Maryland struggles with being the state with the highest rate of incarceration of young black men, whether it's the trans Marylanders who've been denied access to gender-affirming care, whether it's the education support professionals who've been denied a raise for too long, we never hesitated, we never equivocated, we made the case for those who are too often forgotten and left behind. From universal affordable child care to Medicare for all, from committing to net zero by 2035 to an approach to transportation that is centered on people, not cars, we have lifted up a vision for a more just and prosperous Maryland. I'm proud of the people that came together to help us fight for a brighter, more equitable future. While we may not have been victorious tonight, Michelle and I will never stop fighting alongside all of you. Let me close with this. This morning when we went to vote, it was Amina's first time voting. This morning when we went to vote, I couldn't help but think about my ancestors. I couldn't help but think about the fact that my family went in 3 generations from enslaved in a cabin in Gaithersburg to serving in the cabinet of the first black president. And today, 3 generations after our family lived in slavery, to have the opportunity for our family to go and vote for governor with my name on the ballot. It's a profound statement about the progress that is possible in this country. But it happened because my ancestors lived with faith in a future they could not see. And so that's what I want to ask all of us to do. It's what I want to ask all Marylanders to do, to live with that same faith in a future that may be hard to see today, but a future that is possible. A future where we aren't leaving communities behind. A future where we aren't ignoring the climate emergency. A future where world-class schools are available to kids in every corner of the state, regardless of race, regardless of their family's income, regardless of the language they speak at home, regardless of immigration status. A future where our prosperity is shared, not just for those at the top, but shared across all of us. A place where there's housing that folks can afford, a place where everybody has the health care that is a human right. That future is possible, but only if we work for it. And that's ultimately where I want to end. This campaign was never about me, it was never about Michelle, it was never about our egos or aspirations. It was about a hope for a future that is more just and more prosperous. Wish the next Democratic nominee for governor luck, and I want to make sure that everybody in Annapolis understands that the fight that we have put forward on behalf of those who have been forgotten and ignored, that fight continues. We are all in that fight for good. We will continue that fight until we deliver that more just future. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for your support.